Okay, your clock is fast.
Is it?
It is 6 o'clock on the
You're
nose.
right on time.
For the record.
Okay, where to go? So whenever.
Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting, everyone. Well, I didn't ask anyone for a pledge or a prayer. Would either of you like to?
Whatever you want. I'm a pledge.
Okay, thank you.
Start with pledge.
Let's start with the pledge.
Everybody stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our eternal Father in heaven, we humbly approach Thee this day in gratitude for the opportunity we have to meet. We're grateful for this beautiful community in which we live, and we're grateful for the good people that live here. Please bless us with Thy Spirit this evening as we go about our duties, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, you too. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent item, the minutes from last meeting.
Rich Lewis, so moved.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Shri, the applicant looks like he's still out discussing something
okay,
with Jessica. Why don't we
Okay.
move to the variance item
The
and we can get
last.
Davey out of here
okay.
as well?
All right, Sean, do you want to talk to us?
Sure, so
About
we'll go to
that?
item 3 and then come back to item 2.
Okay,
All right, so this is a request for a variance. The site is a corner lot. It's a little under an acre in size. It does include a 60-foot wide storm drain easement at the back, kind of the western side of the lot. I'll show you on an aerial. The home was recently completed and the owner's working on backyard improvements. And one of our Public Works employees was out and noticed a shed being built and was concerned that it was being built on the storm, over the storm chambers. And so he contacted me and we went up and met with the property owner and indicated that we had a concern about the setback requirement as well as the easement. And so the applicant has requested a variance to allow the shed to remain in its current location. So if you look back on the screen here, this is 400 North, and this is Clegg Canyon Drive, so that's almost up at the mouth of the canyon, if you know where that new development is. You can see these are the storm chambers. So we did go out and stake them, and where the shed is built is not impacting the storm chambers, but it is located within the 30-foot side yard setback, the corner yard setback. That's kind of the framing you can see there that as it was being constructed. And from what I understand, I mean, the property owner thought he was doing the right thing. He went to the homeowners association to get approval for it. They gave him approval for it, so he began construction. So it's it's certainly an understandable mistake. This is a more formal site plan. The red line shows the corner setback and the location of the shed. So when you're looking at variances, we included these in the packet, followed by some responses, but I'll just hit on the main things that you need to consider. One, little enforcement of the ordinance would cause an unreasonable hardship, and the hardship cannot be self-imposed or economic. The second is, are there special circumstances that do not generally apply to other properties? In this case, some of the variances we've reviewed in the recent past, there really haven't been any special circumstances. This case, there is. The fact that it's on a corner has quite a bit more setback than normal properties, and then in addition to the large storm drain easement does limit that a little bit. So there are some special circumstances, but whether that's enough to be deemed an unreasonable hardship is for the commission to review. The third point is the granting of the variance is essential to the enjoyment of a substantial property right enjoyed by it. And then the last two, the variance will not impact the general plan and will not impact the spirit of the land use ordinance will be observed. So those are the things you gotta take in mind as you review this. Variances are meant to be very limited in as far as us issuing variance permits, so you want to make sure that you review these and kind of think through whether this application applies or not.
Rich?
I just have a quick question. So I drove up past the property. I reviewed all the notes and everything and drove up past the property and saw where the shed is. So on the map, it shows where the storm drain reservoir is. Is my understanding that he is not to build a shed on top of the storm drain reservoir? So then his only other option would then be to build the shed over on the south side
Correct.
behind his garages.
Mhm.
Which that's not an option anymore, that's where our playhouse is.
Okay.
So you'd probably invite the applicant up and then we can
Okay,
go through
thank you.
questions.
Okay, would you like to come up and give us your spiel?
Hello, I don't really have a spiel, but I'm hoping you guys read through the notes that I wrote. I mean, the main reason I built it there, you know, and I thought I checked on everything. I checked on if I needed a permit, because it wasn't 200 square feet, so, and then it was far enough away from our back neighbor, but didn't take that into consideration. But even before that, our primary reason for locating it there is because for privacy. We're on a corner lot, and that's a pretty busy road for different people walking and everything. So lots of people pass by there, and we're in the HOA. They did approve it. They're pretty strict HOA, but they want Mapleton to be beautiful as well as I do. And so I wasn't able to have I have to have a see-through fence. So, you know, this was one of it. We're putting some trees along there. And so a lot of it was this is gonna help with privacy for our family in our backyard. And it doesn't obstruct any views. If you're driving up there, you can't even see it until you're right next to it. So there's trees that go out 30 feet past the sheds. It's not obstructing any views. And yeah, I mean, those are just kind of my big reasons: privacy for our family, and we're really limited where we can put it with that. We have a pool going in there, so in that spot is taken up with playground and play set now. So it's just, we'd really like it there if you would find it in your heart to let me do that, yeah.
So I guess I'll ask, I didn't drive by and look at it, I apologize, but is the storm drain chamber, is it flat? Is it just something in the ground that
Underground.
percolates?
Underground, yeah, you can't see it,
It
it's
percolates
underground.
into there, okay.
Yeah, so it collects in the roadways, and then there's underground pipes that go into the chambers that are underground.
Right,
So
okay.
when the development was proposed, that's where they proposed to have some of their,
It's the storm drains for the whole
Right,
development. for
so
the
you
whole-
still can use the property, it's just,
On
you
top
can't
of
build
it.
anything on
can't
it.
have
Yeah.
structures on it.
Yeah.
Is it a percolation chamber?
No. Well, the chambers are, but they don't percolate from above ground into the chambers. It's
Right.
piped into it, and then, yes, it just
And that
percolates.
percolates into the ground, it's not reused water.
Correct.
And I know we sent out a letter to the neighbors. I
neighbors.
got one. Was there any response?
No.
Were you aware of the storm drain chamber when you bought the property?
Yeah, he told me about it. He just told me I can't build anything with a foundation. So according to what he told me, that I could even build something on top of it.
When you
But
say he, who is he?
Mike Nemelka,
The seller.
Mike?
the developer. So, which wasn't the full information, but now at least it's off of the actual easement. So yeah, I did know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, we thought that was in a good place to off the easement and privacy for our family. So.
Right. Okay.
I have a question for Sean. So the variance that we're approving, is it a variance for any corner lots in all of Mapleton for any structures, or is it strictly a variance for sheds that we're looking at?
This is just this application,
Just
just this lot. And so
That
what you're
could affect
saying,
future applications.
yeah, but you'd want to make sure that whatever decision you made was based off the facts of this piece. So what makes this piece different than others is the fact that there is such a large storm drain easement. Whether that's enough to satisfy the commission as far as the variance standards. You know, staff usually takes a pretty strict standard on variances. This one is one that certainly does have special circumstances that you're not going to find in most other parcels.
The variance, or the easement on the side is literally just a setback easement. It's not really, is it a utility easement as well?
There's a public utility easement, but usually you know, and usually utilities don't go within those. It's more of a, you have them there to protect in the
Setbacks.
future, but there would still be plenty of room for any utilities if you needed to run something through there.
Because how much room is between the shed and the property
I
line?
think it's 8 feet or more.
So something could potentially drive down that if they needed to, or
Yeah, they wouldn't,
get through there?
you
or
wouldn't put anything big enough in there that would need, you know, vehicle access.
Just be if you needed to get back there.
So I can't see, where would your future fence line go?
Well, the fence is already up.
Fence is already up.
Yeah, so the fence is up, and part of the, so when he mentioned the privacy issue, when this proposal came for a rezone, they were asking for a PRC, so it was a change to the standard zoning to allow for some flexibility. And one of the things they proffered as part of the development was some design standards to make it feel more rural, right? So they have the rural cross-section roads, and they proposed the fencing along the outside. That's what he's referring to, is it's an open split rail
Gotcha.
fence. So it's not a privacy fence.
Yeah, usually people don't build sheds for privacy, privacy barriers per se, but, and I tend to agree with staff on this item, but I'm open to discussion.
Yeah, I guess this thing that I'm struggling with is, obviously that big space does limit you with what you can do with the property, but you did buy the property aware of that. And usually you do know that you can't put stuff in that easement, but it wouldn't be a permanent structure. It doesn't, you could potentially move it if you needed to,
It's
I
on a
had to.
concrete slab.
It's on concrete, but, I mean,
but you could move it.
you had to, it could be moved. yeah.
Feasibly, if you had to, I guess. That would be, I guess, the only reason I could see maybe being fine with it and kind of overlooking some of the other things would be because it's not permanent, but,
Yeah, I mean, it's a shed, it's gonna have lawnmowers and just random things in it, it's not
yeah.
big, and it'll look nice, it
Is
looks,
there
it's
room?
matching our house, and,
Anywhere on the south side, behind the garage, in between the playhouse? I mean, is there anywhere else that it would logically fit?
I mean, there is some space, like up against the back.
To probably the southwest corner kind of area.
This corner, there probably is some space, but it's right, that's up against the neighbors, and then that's garden area that it takes away from to grow things, so. It's-
Hmm.
we
Do-
will-
Do you feel like it's a hardship? Do you think it qualifies? What's your recommendation? You usually give us a recommendation.
Yeah, like I
It's in-
said,
it's in the
our
report.
recommendation was that it be denied just because by the strict reading of it, it doesn't, it's hard to justify that it meets all those standards, but having said that, like I said, this is one that if you did grant it, that it's not, you know, we're not gonna get ourselves into a situation where, you have other applications coming, pointing to this one as a reason for granting theirs. There are some significant constraints here that you don't see on other pieces.
What do you think?
That's my only concern was, you know, is we grant one
A precedent?
and it sets a precedence, but this does have some big
The
challenges,
The
but
extenuating circumstance is that storm drainage
Mhm.
tank. That's,
and I don't want to tell you how to build your backyard, but I see some other
Right.
areas you could put it that does make it where it's not, hey, this is the only place for it, but I get your idea for privacy. You have a pool house that looks like it's going to add some additional privacy as well from the ROTUS, so
Yeah,
you can make the pool house bigger to accommodate everything you want to put in the shed, but like I said, I don't want to tell you how to build your backyard. It's your backyard, so.
part of the issue is he's already started it. It's not a permittable, it's not a municipal permit that is required for this shed. He
yeah.
went through the proper channels through the HOA to get the approvals. They gave it to him. And so it's already underway. He's already paid to have the concrete placed. He's already started framing on it as I went and saw it. And so I understand that part of it, but I also understand staff's view on it. But I think that there's some gray area there, so.
It's a tough one.
With just 3 of you, it would need to be a unanimous.
Okay.
This is a
Whatever the motion
recommendation,
is.
or do we have?
No, you're the final decision
the
makers.
final say? Sean, can you go back to the requirements? Maybe it's in my packet too.
Oh, sorry, other way.
It's, the second bullet point, I think, is something to be considered. None of the others apply, in my opinion.
Don't apply for approval?
Well, yeah, the only thing that I would say, if I were to say, yeah, let's approve this variance, it's the second bullet point that would
That would
I could be-
convince you
I could
to,
be persuaded.
because of the storm drain?
Because a good portion of his backyard is, he can't put a shed on it because of that storm drains there, so.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm indifferent. I don't feel like it's gonna be a huge deal if he keeps it, as long as they can access the utilities, but at the same time, yeah. Rules are rules, so I don't know.
So would it just be the three of us? We have to be unanimous in our decision here. Doesn't make sense to continue it when we have bodies here just to vote on it, so.
I think you could make a motion, see where it goes, and if it doesn't pass, we can wait till we have another group.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we take staff's recommendation and deny the request for a variance from the required 30-foot corner setback for a new shed property located on 375 North Clegg Canyon Drive.
I'll second the motion.
That's even though not one single person wrote in and even cares about this. Not even one person. It doesn't affect anybody. And you're driving up, you've got campers hanging over the road. I mean, this is not the worst looking thing in the
I could go
neighborhood.
either way.
I know.
But we have to be unanimous.
Please.
Is it the spirit of the law or is it the letter of the law?
I mean, and
We
I
had
don't
that
think
talk
there's any
last
other
week-
developments that even have the whole neighborhood. Like my brother built in the preserve and they have their single one. Like, is there any other developments that have the whole neighborhood in an underground retention pond? Is there any others?
There are.
There may be some. Nothing, this one is a bigger one than
Yeah.
we're used to. Yeah, if the three of you are unclear on a combined motion, we just continue it till we have the next meeting with the next group.
What do you think, Rich?
Let's continue it. Let's get Jesse to weigh in on it. I think he'd
And
add some
TJ?
perspective. Yeah.
TJ always has great insight too. Okay. Let's table it.
Sorry, gotta wait.
What does that
till
mean? Till what?
Next meeting is the 27th.
So the good news is we didn't deny it. Waited 6 weeks for this.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir.
You're excused. I'm sorry. Oh, gosh. Okay, item number 1.
Number 2.
I guess it,
Yeah, we jumped.
we jumped ahead. We're going backwards, but okay, yes. Item number 2.
Sure, so this project includes the old Ensign Bickford property. It's 460 acres in size. You recall in 2011, the city approved the PD zone for the project and the development agreement. Earlier this year, the applicant, Edge Homes, purchased it and came before the Planning Commission. Planning Commission recommended approval of some amendments to the development agreement that then went to City Council and were approved for a maximum density of 990 residential units. There were some other things that were changed, dedication, a cash donation to future city parks, some additional trails, replacement of industrial space with commercial, things like that. So the applicant is requesting preliminary plat approval for Plat A. So their first phase will include 99 total units, and that's 69 townhomes and 30 condos. The Planning Commission is advisory to the City Council on this one, so you'll be making a recommendation. So just as to refresh your memory, this is the project site, this is Highway 6, and then Highway 89. They have a little bit of frontage on 89 where their main road will come in, and then that frontage on Highway 6 as well. This was the approved concept plan. So this was the commercial area, and then this right here is where Phase 1 is, or Plat A that you're reviewing tonight. Then this was the trails plan that was approved. It's kind of hard to see on this exhibit, but there's a trail they'll be building that will be paved, that will go all the way up this main road. So they will, the first phase will include the trail to here, and then there's a proposed trail behind the townhome units that loops up and will connect with our, with the Parkway Trail. So a portion of that is included in this phase as well. This is the proposed plat. So you see you got the townhomes on both sides and some condominium units here in the middle. Most of the town units on the outside are front-loaded, and then these are the rear-loaded product. And the applicant has some examples of the product types. If you'd like to see those, we can go through those as part of his presentation. And then just the more formal plat drawings showing the pad sites and the driveway locations. The PD3 zone establishes the max density at 990, so this is just fitting into that. They have an open space requirement for the whole project of 40%. They have an established design review process and requirements for trail development. So that's all. We included some information in your staff report regarding those standards, as well as the standard subdivision requirements. Off-site and on-site infrastructure, they're required to have 2 points of access for this phase. And they're proposing, the majority of their project is public streets, but they do have some private streets that are proposed to access the condominium units in the middle of this phase. And we've included an analysis of that in the staff report. These are some of the product types. As I mentioned, we can go through these in more detail if you have any questions with the applicant. So these are all the front-loaded, or the front-loaded townhomes examples. These are the rear-loaded products. Some examples of what those might be. And the condominiums. And staff's recommendation on this is to recommend approval of the City Council with the DRC comments. Be happy to answer any questions, or the applicant can as well.
Let's invite the applicant up.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Brandon Watson with Edge Homes. Pleasure to be here this evening. Yeah, so as Sean said, I know this project's been in the city for quite some time, and you guys have probably seen various developments and applicants come up here proposing final product to you. So we're glad and happy to be here finally and to be welcomed into your city. We really do appreciate it. So. This first phase, it's kind of unique in the sense that this feels like such a small phase compared to the grand scheme of the entire project, and not only within the bounds of the boundary of the project, but there's quite a bit of off-site work that needs to be done as well to bring this phase on board. So we're excited to get started on it, and we're excited to be able to break ground if you'd allow us to. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I can get into any details if needed, or stay high level if we need to. So
I'd love to know what elevations you're kind of focusing on, I'm just curious more than anything, but love to see where, I can't remember where all of these people that are going to live in these units, where is their open space? Where's their?
Sure. Could we go back to that overall plan, Sean?
Sorry, why don't we go through your elevations here, and then we'll go back to you had questions on the elevations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why don't we do that, and then I'll take you back.
So this would be a great, this one right here would be a great one to start at. So the three buildings, when you come in off of Highway 89, The main road, we're calling it Harmony Ridge Boulevard. We're real creative, I know, right? But Harmony Ridge Boulevard, there'll be 3 buildings of our alley load product, and that will be,
Skip
if you want to keep rolling, yeah, it'd be our Caroline Townhome unit. So these are just different elevations and colors and materials. It's more of a Scandinavian elevation, and it's a lot more slender. It's got some steeper roof pitches. That's just kind of the style, and it's allows for a lot of variation in material types and colors. Really a cool product, and I know a lot of our buyers have that's well received. They really like the interior layout of it, and it's real conducive to to younger families. Being a 2-story product, we do eventually we'll get into a townhome unit that has a Rambler style, and it's total finished. Once it's all said and done, is I think it was 3,600 square feet, including the basement and a loft option on that. So that was, I think that one's called our David. I don't know if that's shown in, yep, right here. No, keep going. Yeah, this one right here. So if you look at the end unit on this one, you can see that it's a lot shorter, but that's our Rambler unit. So very well received. And we have the Bailey, which if we go back on our, I'll jump into those, keep going. Yeah, this one is our Bailey townhome. So this one's kind of a craftsman style. They got 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. This one does have the option to have a 4th bedroom if they wanted to eliminate. We have a kind of an open to above in the living room area. They have the ability to add a 4th bedroom above if they'd like, they being our buyers. So we are going to have some additional architectural features on the rear. So that top right picture, we've added some additional pop-outs to some of the bedrooms and added some additional architectural features in the materials themselves. We wanted to do that on the site plan. We'll get to this a little bit later, but that's what you'll kind of see along Highway 89. So we didn't want to just have a start plane of the back of the townhome. So we decided to add in some additional pop-outs and colors and different material types along the back there to help break that up. So yeah, so then, let's see, we talked about the Bailey, talked about the Caroline. There's the Blair townhome unit, and this one's kind of more of a mountain modern. This one's got some unique architectural features as well. You'll see the garage doors are darker, kind of draw your eyes down towards the base of the unit itself. It's got windows in the garage doors, angled roofs, but it does also have some elements of individuality. The kind of the lighter Hardy there is kind of a wood style, so it looks like wood, but it holds up like Hardy, and it'll stand the test of time. It looks really, really good. A lot of contrasting colors that work really well together. So
you're planning on doing all these different styles in the same?
So we'll mix them. I've got a PDF that if Sean wanted to pull that up there, we can kind of, we're trying to be strategic on where we place all of these. Sometimes you can Yahtzee it up, I guess, and you can try to mix them all together, and it looks good in some applications, and other times we try to cluster them together just to kind of create that uniqueness of those neighborhoods. So, and that's what we'll do here, is we'll try to cluster those into areas where as you drive down the street, they kind of blend in together. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the Aaron condominium, a little bit more of a craftsman style look to it. 1,272 square feet. They're 3-bedroom. All each of the 3 levels is all one. Well, they have 1 unit per level. We do have true 9-foot ceilings, so we do larger floor joists than those. So all of the air ducts run inside, and so there's no pop outs. But it's a true 9-foot ceiling throughout the entire unit. It really has an open feel to it. And then each of the units have their own individual garage. So they're 10 plexes with 10 garages on each of those. So, yeah, the Ammon is just kind of the more contemporary version. And then we have the Abbey condo, which this one has a little extra square footage on some of the units. You'll notice probably that yeah, the top left picture, well, all of them, top left, middle, and bottom right, you can kind of see they have kind of a tower on the end of it. It adds some additional square footage to the units. But that one follows kind of that Scandinavian elevation. Yeah, if you want to pull up that PDF, Sean, you can kind of see where we intend to put all of these units. I've tried to color code it. Hopefully nobody's colorblind. I've got a few people I work with that this just looks all gray to them. So, but anyway, so we've designated in color where we plan to put all of those units. Like I said, we're going to cluster these together. For example, I don't have a street name. Is this?
Yeah, that works.
Is this a laser pointer here?
Yeah.
Okay. So like this street right here as an example, you know, on one side of the street, you're going to see more of the Blair, and then across the street where you have the condominiums, you'd have the Ammons. So it does break up that street view. Same here. Even though they're front-load townhomes, they're going to have a different look on one side of the street as they do on the other. So tried to be a little bit strategic on where we placed those just to create individuality, but also to not have that same look going down the entire street on both sides. So.
That's good.
And sure, you'd asked about the open space, so they've got this is the park, the HOA maintained park here, and then they've got some open space out in front of here, plus the trail connections.
Yeah. In this park here, you know, we have the pickleball courts. We also have a clubhouse. In fact, if you go back to the PowerPoint at the very end, there are some renderings of the clubhouse and the open space area. If you're interested to see what those look like, those will come in
That
future
just seems
phases.
like such a small area to gather for that many units, but I assume you guys know what you're doing. But that just seems like not enough space for that many people.
Yeah. This does have, like Sean said, there is a trail connectivity that goes up, and the city owns a 30-acre park that will,
Right.
you know,
Right,
that's
right.
just kind of kitty corner just off the screen here.
Right.
So those trails will tie into that eventually, and then, you know, on that trails plan, there's quite a few trails that will get you out through a lot of the open space and native open space that's there.
Right,
And we're going to
right.
do all that we can to try to preserve as much of that, not grade out into those areas. So,
Right.
yeah,
So this Plat A, this phase has 30 condos total
correct.
with 10 in each condo?
Yeah, so each of these are, yeah, so there's just those 3 buildings right there. So there's 10 units in each of those.
Oh, just the 3?
Yeah.
So 30 total condoms, not 300?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I was going to Cherie's point, if there's 30 condos
Okay,
at
because,
10,
yeah, those all look like the same
300.
size of building. It's very deceiving. Okay. So what are the other ones? All the others are like 6 or 8 or?
So these units right here, in phase 1, these are the townhome units that kind of go around the outside.
There's how many in each cluster?
There were 6, in each cluster, like each of those buildings?
Yeah.
There'll be 4, 5, and 6-plex units.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my understanding is correct, there's going to be 99 total homes.
In phase
total
1.
in single.
Oh,
So 99
okay.
share that park, Cherie.
Okay.
Yes.
It does seem like a lot
I guess
more.
I didn't really think about the number you told me versus what the picture looks like, because
I gotcha.
it looks a whole lot different. Okay.
Yeah, so this is phase 1, right? That's the 99.
Yes, yes.
So this'll be at future phases.
Where's phase 1? The whole thing?
No, just the 99 right here.
Just,
You can see the black line.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant that whole thing.
Yeah, no. And that's consistent with the concept plan that we reviewed, and,
Gotcha.
So there will be more that share that park.
yeah.
What's the total amount that share that park, do you know?
I think down here in the lower section, there's about 400 units total, yeah.
And part of what you may recall when we had the discussions is we were debating or the original plan had a larger city park that the city was gonna own in this area. But as we discussed it as staff and with the applicant, we negotiated what we preferred to do is rather than the city maintain, a little 3 or 4 acre park here and have to come up with the money to do the park that's just above this, is that we would allow them to take that park space out of their project, but donate the money to the city to do it. So it's more of a park for the city as a whole rather than
Right.
just the neighborhood.
Correct me if I'm wrong, there's another park on the same entire property, right? 460 acres or no?
Yeah, so there's another clubhouse as you continue up Harmony Ridge Boulevard
That's
that,
specifically for
Yep.
those individuals? Or
Anybody
can
that
anybody
lives there?
use this?
anybody
entire-
that lives there, yeah. So we're trying to keep all of this under one HOA. And so, you know, if the single-family residents, which, you know, they're gonna have, there's some larger lots up there that might have their own pools and might be in here getting variances
Show
for
up to this
sheds.
park
but-
and it's packed, you can go to the other park if you wanted to.
Yeah, so yeah, you could come down here and go to this park, you can go up to the other clubhouse and pool that's up above, or, you know, these, obviously then you have public parks at that point and trails systems.
So I know you guys specialize in this, but that just seems like very little space for that many people, but you feel confident that's
Yeah, it's.
enough.
It's about a 2-acre park right there. And like I said, it's got a clubhouse, pool, there's some gazebos and tot lots, 3 pickleball courts. There's quite a bit going on in there. We got to be a little strategic on what we plant there as far as obviously we're all pushing for xeriscape. So I think some of the renderings I had in my presentation just shows grass, but we really want to be really conscious and strategic on where we put grass versus xeriscape. So grass in usable areas, and where we might have some awkward corners, just fill that in with xeriscape. So make it still look nice.
Isn't there an equation that the Parks Director Logan has for level of service per so many rooftops? Like the city would like to provide so many parks.
Yeah.
Level of service per so many
And
households.
the 30-acre park
That's adjoining this piece.
that's adjoining this will be vastly more acreage than we would have had under the
On the other one.
original
Does
proposal.
that 30-acre park include the bike park?
Yeah.
The pump track?
Yeah, so the idea for that, it's a flat piece up top that will have most likely like a pump track, but other park amenities. So playground, other things for people who are non-bikers, and then the steeper part will be the bike trails.
Okay.
This project, and yeah, all in all, it's got 40% open space. I think it's a little over 200 acres of open space on the entire project. Obviously, this is the first phase and the entrance into the project. so.
There's no question in my mind that we're going to have spillover into the municipal parks, like Ira Allen, probably the main city park, with that many
People.
occupants. But I think that the staff's done a good job trying to find a balance and getting those donations for the other park.
Well, and they still pay essentially impact fees. It's worked a little differently, but there's money coming in that's meant to meet their impact on the other city services.
With the popularity of pickleball, 3 pickleball courts will not accommodate 400 people,
Right.
Right.
and they'll spill over into Ira Allen. So, anyway.
Yeah. Jessica, something to consider when it comes to you. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot going on right there. A lot. I don't know. But I know we already approved your numbers, so there's not much we can probably do at this point. But I'd like to see, I don't know if there's any way you can just make a little more open areas without having it just boom, 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 boom everywhere right there. Especially because it's the entrance to the neighborhood, and it's just going to be like cluster right there. I don't know. It's hard for me to know. I mean, I do this every day too. I guess that's where I'm coming from, but I would love to see some, sculptures, some art, some fun things that way too, instead of just the xeriscape and just the buildings and the thing. I would love to see some park benches. I would love to see some features.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, when we get to that phase, we can most definitely, like I said, we have benches and all of that stuff, but we can get into specifics on that when we get to that phase for sure.
Sure. We just want it to be beautiful.
Yeah.
We want it to be nice and not just a cluster.
Yeah, we appreciate that, yeah.
Madam Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Go for it.
Rich Lewis, I move that we approve Plat A,
Recommend approval.
recommend approval to the city
There you go.
council for Plat A for Harmony Ridge subdivision consisting of 99 lots in the planned development PD3 zone.
I will
Have a
second
second?
that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
For the record,
Appreciate it.
the Bailey is my least favorite.
The Bailey's your least
Yeah,
favorite, okay?
just saying.
I'll mark it down.
I like all the other ones way better. I'm tired of seeing that look, but that's just me. That's just me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
One second.
I-
So